So everybody goes, well, what's the standard earnest money? There is no set earnest money, but earnest money is saying, I'm willing to put this money up front, saying that I'm going to go through with this contract if you take your home off the market. So let's say it's a $500,000 house. Maybe I really want this house. I'm going to say, I'm going to put $20,000 here and down, and I'm going to have a escrow company or, builder. Sometimes it goes directly to the builder to say, I really want this house. I'm going to go through all the process to buy it. And if I don't, or if I breach the contract, that's the key thing, you get to keep that for taking your home off the market.
So it's your feet are held to the fire as a buyer.
Correct.
In 2005, it was insane the amount of offers we were getting on one listing, and it was within hours of it going active. And you would get offers that were significantly above list price, but it was usually the one that was most attractive to a seller was not only did the buyer come in above list price, but if they came in with stronger, higher earnest deposit, that meant they were more serious. There's some weight to how much your earnest deposit is. But I know you, as a bulldog, when you're representing the buyers, you're trying to go in with as little money out of pocket as possible.
As I can.
You're negotiating on your behalf of your buyers.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is, buyers are always worried about what happens, how can I lose that earnest money? And sellers are always asking, how do I get that earnest money? And I kind of look at it as like a security deposit in a rental. It's just a deposit that's sitting there. And as a fiduciary for a buyer, I'm looking at how can I keep your money? So if we have a finance issue or we have an inspection issue, there are a lot of outs in our Arizona contract. It's different in other states and depending on where you're at. But in Arizona, there's a lot of outs for the buyer. But you have to follow a process. You have to do it in a timely manner. And that's part of your fiduciary representation. And then sellers always think, I get that money?
No, sellers don't necessarily get that money unless the buyer is in breach. Then the money can go to the seller. But that's a whole due process that can be very cumbersome.
So what you're saying, it sounds like this is kind of complicated.
Very complicated, yes. That's why it matters who you hire to represent you. I've represented many sellers and many buyers through the years, and I've represented and we've won and got earnest money before. And then there's been times where, as representing the buyer, and they back out for whatever reason, as long as it's within the contractual reasons, they can get their earnest money and move on. So our purchase contract in Arizona, as you know, is very buyer friendly. I tell every seller this. I'm like, look, once we go under contract as a seller, you can't cancel. You're locked in. So buyer can cancel for multiple reasons. As long as it's within the contractual rights, they can grab their earnest money, move on, and go to the next property.
Exactly.